Hello again, chaps and chapettes. How are we all doing? It's lovely to speak to you all again, as always. So, my friends, the inevitable has happened. The Labour Council member, ex-Labour Council member, because the Labour Party suspended his ass following what he said on that day, Ricky Jones has been let off absolutely scot-free in a UK court of law. Now, I saw this coming quite a few weeks ago, guys, when I noticed the press was trickle-feeding the public the excuses that were primed and ready to go to be used in that trial. He has ADHD, and so do I. Yet I don't go around threatening to run a bladed implement across people's fucking necks. He suffered racism at school, so the white minority in this country have been suffering racism for the last 10 years. It's no goddamn excuse. All it takes is one singular shitlib leftist cocksucker in the jury to turn everyone's heads and get minorities off the hook. I suppose in some weird and wonderful way, I'm pleased this has happened because it smashes the fabricated notion that we don't have two-tier justice in this country. Can you remember when Yvette Cooper, I think it was quoted in saying that two-tier justice is just a far-right conspiracy? Well, that has now been shot to shit. Let's look at this a bit more closely, shall we? Loosely, Connolly said, "Burn down the hotels for all I care." A statement made in the heat of the moment, in anger, for which she regretted about an hour later and deleted it. Bang! 3 years inside. Wayne O'Rourke was spreading around an article that at the time the Southport killer being an immigrant from the Middle East. An article, by the way, which I shared myself. Bang! Prison. Ricky Jones, on the other hand, made an incitement to murder. And believe me, he meant it at the time. You could tell by the tone of his voice and the look in his eyes. No prison sentence. Thank you, sir. Off you go. Enjoy the rest of your life. What kind of precedent does this set to the rest of the country when the rule of law is made a mockery of? Once the rule of law is no longer obeyed and followed, anarchy ensues. That is the path we are going down. Both Lucy Connolly, Wayne O'Rourke, and whoever else got thrown in a cell during that time deserves exoneration, a huge apology, and a sizable compensation package for the time in their lives that has been absolutely wasted thanks to the Labour government and our justice system. Another quick thing before I love you and leave you, my friends. I want to talk to you about Labour peer Thangham Debonair, the woman whose name sounds like a shit Del Boy chat-up line. She has come out and stated that the Clive of India statue outside the Home Office should be removed because it causes offence. Let me give you a small analogy here. You know how I love an analogy, my friends. If you go and see a stand-up comic in a theatre or a stadium or something like that, filled with 2,000 other people, and you hear a joke you find distasteful, would you expect the entire arena to be emptied and the show cancelled just because you didn't like a joke? No, it would be unfair and against moral decency. Same applies here. If you find something offensive, that is a you problem, and a problem you alone should be dealing with. Not expecting every fucker around you to bow down and kiss your feet really gets on my tits. I find Sadiq Khan and Tony Blair getting knighthoods very offensive. Why hasn't the king rescinded them for me? Excellent question, don't you think, guys? Anyway, my friends, that's the end of the video. Please do let me know what you think in the comments. Carpe diem as always, and I shall see you in a bit. Cheers.